So what is up, guys? Souter the Savage back, and today I am here with another episode of Souter Stories. Now you may notice there is a bit of a difference. I am talking with a very brand new microphone. This microphone was given me to my buddy SledBoss Productions. Links to his channel will be in the description below, and also I'll leave a link to the video where he actually reviewed this microphone. But I cannot thank you enough for giving me this microphone so I can actually make my videos at a bit of a better quality. So you know, filming this on my phone, really though, you might have noticed over time the audio was getting worse. So that's why, getting this new microphone is definitely going to help. But anyways, today for my Souter Stories, I will be telling you about stories of 6th grade sports teams because, well, I made two of the teams in 6th grade, and I have so many fond memories and things that happened on those two teams that I thought, let's make this into a new video. Now, I know I've been off for a little bit. Like, the last video I filmed was the Super Bowl 54 prop bet predictions, which I did very well on, but the competition I was in, I lost to. My buddy Justin, he beat me out on tiebreaker because he predicted the final score would be 51 points. I said 66. A little asshole. But anyways, I didn't win that one, but that was the last video I made. The last one I released was Bill's Mafia fail. Now, I had no intentions of what happened in that video actually to happen, but I still thought it was funny enough that I'll be releasing it on YouTube. So anyways, I've been going on with this intro for way too long, and without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright guys, so I'm pretty mad at myself that I have to refilm this because, I filmed the rest of the footage for this video, but the microphone was not on, so unfortunately, it was just back to my regular phone microphone. That was just so frustrating. And then my phone died, so yeah, basically, I waited, it's recharged, and yeah, I'm ready to film this again. So anyways, starting off with our very first team, it is the 6th grade boys slow pitch team now. So back when I was in 6th grade, funny thing was, this didn't even start in 6th grade, this started back in 5th grade. So when I was in the 5th grade, I got to try out for the slow pitch team. Now, we didn't have a baseball team, so slow pitch was the closest thing that we got. And basically, we had like a couple of tryouts, but what ended up happening was that the two coaches, which were my 5th and 3rd grade teachers, they said, look, how about we just have tryouts when you start 6th grade again, when you start 6th grade. So we got to vote, and eventually tryouts would happen when I was actually in 6th grade. So then eventually, but something interesting did happen in 5th grade. It was my 11th birthday, and what actually got to happen was the 5th graders that were trying out for the boys slow pitch team actually got to go up against the actual 6th grade slow pitch team. Now, I was actually the pitcher. I pitched 6 innings. I was pretty good, but unfortunately we lost via a walk-off, which was very frustrating. But anyways, nothing to really say about tryouts because it happened and I made the team. I was the pitcher and my backup was my buddy Ryan. You've obviously seen him in my Bills video when we saw the Bills game together. But anyways, when we actually did start, when we did have like our very first practice, there were a couple of problems. First off, the original person that played first base, I don't remember who was the original first baseman, but it couldn't last because he was just so short. And most of the guys that actually were in the infield, they had all played AAA baseball together, and the first baseman they had was much taller than who we had at first base. Now the thing is, in the MLB, something that you usually see is like a good first baseman is a tall left-handed first baseman. Someone like Anthony Rizzo or Justin Smoke. Those are the best guys at first base because they have it all. But so eventually, the guy who actually ended up playing first, his name was Jack. And I don't think he was left-handed, but he was tall, so it was much better because we actually had someone much taller because at first we were throwing balls. We were literally it was going out of school property into the road. So yeah, there was a lot of problems with that. And also, something else that was apparent was a problem was our left fielder. His name's Wolfgang, and he was a beast. He literally would always knock the ball out of the park, and well, at least what we call a home run. But the one problem was he would always throw the bat. Now, from a very young age, you're always taught that you never throw the bat. When I was younger, throwing the bat was very serious because, like, whenever I would throw the bat, my parents, they would get really mad at me and they would get really upset. They would basically, at one point, they said, if you throw your bat again, I'm kicking. You're not playing on this team again. And it was just like it was basically like a softball game, and so eventually I got it down. I started dropping the bat, but Wolfgang kept throwing the bat. And when you actually did go into like the actual tournament itself, if you throw the bat, it's an automatic out. and maybe ejection. I don't think ejection, but definitely an automatic out. So every time Wolfgang threw the bat, he would have to run a lap. So he ran many laps, and also another punishment was push-ups. So he did a lot of laps and a lot of push-ups. You fucking idiot. All you have to do is drop the bat. Nah, man, it's all good. But anyways, you might think that the rules of slow pitch in baseball were pretty similar, but honestly, there were many different rules. And one of the ones was the third strike rule. So say you had 2 strikes on you and you were batting. You have 2 strikes on you, and you hit the ball and it goes foul. The thing is, you don't get to continue. It's an automatic third strike. You are automatically out, which I think is very dumb. And also, you were never allowed to have a leadoff. So say you're on first base. The only time you could leave first base is if a fair ball was hit. Say a guy swings and misses and you lead off, you're automatically out. Say a guy hits a ball and it goes foul and you run off the base, you're out. You had to make sure that it was fair. It was just so stupid. And then finally, we had the dumbest rule, which was the commitment line and scoring. Now, the only way you could actually score is if you ran behind home plate. We actually had like a line drawn out behind home plate. Now, the reason we had that is because we didn't want any collisions, which honestly made sense. The way you would get out is, say you're running home, and if the catcher, or if someone catches the ball, steps on home plate before you cross the home plate line, then you're out. So honestly, it was a good thing just to prevent collisions, because those can be very, very serious. But what I also do remember was the commitment line. Now, basically, it was like in between third base and home plate, but it was a lot closer to third base. We had this drawn out line that if you pass that line, you have to run home. You have to commit to going home. You cannot go back to third base. And that is basically what cost my team a chance of winning it all. But I will get to that later. And also, you know, in slow pitch, you have your standard positions: pitcher, catcher, first baseman, second baseman, third baseman, shortstop, left fielder, right fielder, center fielder. But we also did have a 10th position, and that was rover. Now, basically, what a rover was, he was kind of just like the extra man. He would kind of like, one of the coaches would basically say where he would want to play. Would they want him like, I don't know, in the middle, on the left side, on the right side? Basically, the rover was definitely like the most agile player. It was like the one who had to do the most adjusting, mainly due to what the coach would have ever wanted. So yeah, and also one of the interesting things is what was a strike? So basically in baseball, a strike is when you throw a ball and it's, you know, if the ball goes, crosses the plate, goes over the plate, and it's in between the guy's shoulders or letters on their jersey and their knees. That's kind of what I define as a strike. But in this one, it had to be thrown 6 to 12 feet in the air, and it had to land on the home plate. And this is what it looked like. So it was 2 parts. This was like the regular Pentagon home plate, and here was like the extra part. Combined together, it actually looked like this. So it was definitely, we had to have that because, you know, hitting home plate in general definitely was just not that easy of a task. But something I did remember was that for like the first 4 practices, we could not find this piece. We couldn't find this piece, so we just had this one. So throwing strikes for me, that was a very difficult challenge. But anyways, before we actually got into the tournament itself, we played 2 exhibition games. The first one, we went to a school called Armor Heights. And basically what happened was I was flawless that whole game. Not exactly flawless, but we killed Armor Heights. We won the game. I think we won like 13-0. I was the pitcher, and I did actually get myself out of a pretty interesting situation. So I think we played like 6 total innings. It was the 5th inning, and it was bases loaded, none out. I was pitching, and I was getting a little frustrated. The coach was ready to pull me, but I said, give me a chance. I just said, just give me a chance, and let's see if I can get it. And then I strike out the next 3 batters. So pulling out in the clutch is what I did. And then the next game, we had another exhibition game. This time we played it at our own school, and we played it against a school called Allenby. And basically, well, I didn't pitch as well as I did against Bessborough, because they toyed with me a little bit. They were a little bit better at hitting. They were a much better school than Armor Heights, so I had a little bit more trouble with them. Eventually, Ryan, he got to pitch a few innings, and he completely silenced Allenby. And yeah, I got to pitch like the first 2 innings. Ryan pitched like the next 2, and I pitched the final 2. So honestly, Ryan was definitely a very good pitcher. He was very good as my backup. Maybe, and also pretty good to be a starter. So anyways, then came the tournament itself. Now, we went to a school called Bessborough, and it's not really close to where I actually went to school, but we played against 2 different schools. Bessborough, and once again, faced off against Allenby. So here were the rules of the tournament. So we were in like a 3... I think we were like Group A, and there were 3 teams, and the way you would move on in your group was to be the #1 team. Now, you got to play each team once, so top team moves on. Now, if it did go down to tiebreaker, it would come to run differential. So basically, we had to score as many runs as possible and give up not as many runs as possible. And basically, we killed Bessborough, but Allenby was able to do a little bit of a better job. I think we gave up like 5 runs against Bessborough, and they only gave up like 3 runs. So currently at that point, they had the advantage. I pitched the whole game against Bessborough. Now, the thing about the school that we played at, there was definitely an interesting rule that the fence at left field was so far out, and then at right field, there was the pavement, or like the playground, and that was so close to the actual field, the end of the field itself. So here's the thing. If you actually hit it onto the pavement, it's an automatic ground rule double. Didn't matter if it didn't even bounce, if it bounced on, ground rule double. There was no such thing as a home run unless you were somehow able to hit it over the left field fence. And the one thing I did remember about playing against with the umpire was if I threw the ball and it landed on the plate, but it didn't go 6 to 12 feet in the air, he'd always do this. Man, Ryan and I, we always have the funniest jokes. Like, you throw it over 12 feet, throw it as high as possible. And then we also had another funny joke. It's like, if you throw it over 12 feet, he just goes, and you go under 6 feet, somehow go underground, have it the lowest way possible. Anyways, man, Ryan, man, I love our joke about that umpire. It's so fun. Anyways, we steamroll over Bessborough. Then we played against Allenby, so I didn't start this game. We gave it to Ryan. He did a good job, limited them to 3 runs, but unfortunately, our offense was completely stale because we actually had a bat. I actually brought in a bat, but apparently it was an illegal slow pitch bat, but apparently somehow it's also an illegal baseball bat. So technically we had an illegal bat, and basically everyone went stale. We were missing Wolfgang, and I think we were missing my buddy Sam. We were missing a couple guys that were definitely going to take us over the top. But then there came the commitment line rule, and my buddy Justin. So basically, he ends up cranking a ball. He's running all the way home, and, you know, it's going to be a close play. But what ends up happening is, as he passes the commitment line, he slips. And if you slip, at that point, you should probably just go back. But unfortunately, he couldn't go back. He already passed the commitment line, and he was thrown out of the plate. And as soon as he did that, slammed his helmet down, punched the fence, super pissed off. We were all pissed off. Our coach, our teacher started just screaming at the umpire, what the hell kind of call was that? We were frustrated. Anyways, we ended up tying them 3-3, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough because they had beat us over tiebreaker, so we were eliminated, all super salty, and it was just such a horrible end to a great team. Now, honestly, now I know round robin, I think it went round robin, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. Now, I know I said earlier that would have robbed us a chance of going to the finals, but you could say, oh, you never know about the quarters or semis. We would have won that. We were such a good team. We were fucked over. Man, that was actually like the first time I ever experienced getting robbed in a big series in any kind of sport. But honestly, I love the guys on the team. It was so much fun playing with them. It was a fun experience. All right, so the very next story, it's actually about my 6th grade basketball team now. Unlike softball, which took place in like summer/fall, this one took place in winter. And basically, nothing really to say about the tryouts. You know what, once again, try my best. And I did make the team, but it was by accident. I was a mistake. I wasn't supposed to make the team, and I'm going to explain how. So, most of the time, the coach says whenever he makes the list, he decides he goes from in alphabetical order on who made it. He'll go from like the top of the attendance to like the bottom, from A to Z. But this time he was feeling a little bit different. He was going from Z to A. So he writes down the team, and then he writes down Brendan Souter. So I made the team, but here's the thing. The person who didn't make the team, his name was also Brendan. And he went, and he was much higher on the attendance than me. So what ended up happening was he goes, after he sees the list, he goes to talk to the coach, and he looks at the list one more time, and he realizes he made a huge mistake, that he was meant to be on the team and not me. But we both made the team anyways. But still, I don't feel great that I made the team. But anyways, enough about that. But anyways, the team that we had was just terrible. Because the reason why was because all the good basketball players, they were all on the hockey team, and you couldn't be on 2 teams at once. It was just too complicated. And basically, our team was basically just G-Leaguers and backups. Like if you took an NBA team and you just and your team was just mainly focused on on backups and G-Leaguers. So honestly, it was just horrible. But the position I ended up playing, I was a forward, even though I was like one of the shortest guys on the team. I definitely should have played as a guard. But anyways, I think it was a power forward, which, oh my god, I still am so pissed I chose to put myself in there. But anyways, you know, we had a bunch of practices, nothing really to say about that, but then there came the actual tournament itself. We went to a different school. I don't remember what it was called, but eventually we played the first 2 games, and basically how it worked was, unlike, like, this is not going to be as long as talking about softball because there was not many differences in rules, because this one was pretty standard, except this time it was 24-minute games, and you had 8 3-minute shifts, and you had to play for at least 9 minutes. Each person had to play for at least 9 minutes. So anyways, the first game I play was the first guy I see. This guy's name was Daniel. And the second I saw him, I realized we are so fucked. Because this guy, back when we were in 6th grade, he was a beast. He was super tall. He could touch rim. None of us could even do that. Except maybe one guy, but the dude was a freaking god. Nah, funny thing is, I'm taller than him now. I'm like 5'11". I think he was like 5'8", 5'9" when we were in 6th grade. So honestly, it was just, like, and the first game, when we played against him, he just completely dominated us. I don't remember the final score was at, but it was not a pleasant game. The second game we played didn't go much better. Don't remember who we faced, but anyways, then we had like maybe an hour, like we had like 3 hours till our next game that we had to play. So what ended up happening was, you know, there was just a lot of downtime. I was talking with friends, playing games on my iPod Touch because I didn't have a phone then. And then eventually I decided I wanted to go get some lunch. And they had a cafeteria, so I thought, why not? I'll go there. And, you know, as I was walking around the halls, all the girls were squealing for me. They said, oh my god, you're so cute. Like, it was a good feeling to know that I was kind of like the good-looking one, even though today that's not true. Maybe, damn it. I should have gone to that school because the girls were all over me there. I could have maybe had myself a girlfriend or two. I got nothing now. Just kind of a funny thing to say. But anyways, the third game we played was an absolute disaster. I remember my buddy Sam, he was the only guy to actually score a basket. And that's it. We lost that game 48-2 in the most abysmal game that we ever played. And yeah. So we got exposed. Like, honestly, after that we had no chance of moving on, but we still had 2 more games to play in the round robin, which happened like a week or 2 later back at our school. So the first game we played was against the #1 team, and honestly, they just steamrolled over us. And then the next game we played was the final game, which we actually won that game. And funny thing, I only scored 2 points in that whole tournament, and it was in that final game. What ended up happening was we got a steal, and I was all the way up court, and one of my guys, my guy Hayden, passes the ball to me. I go up, I just do like a simple layup, except I did it like an idiot. I didn't try to go like up and over. I did it like this, and I hit it like off the top of the backboard, and then it comes back, hits the rim, goes in. I'm super excited, and I did the one stupid thing. I start going, and I start high-fiving my teammates for my first ever points. Now, here's the thing. Unlike baseball, soccer, hockey, and football, most of the time, a score, whenever you score a point, it leads into a pause in the game, where you can actually start celebrating with your teammates. In basketball, the game was still going, and they're all yelling, "Souter, get back on the court!" And honestly, that was just so much fun. And, you know, we won the final game. We went 1-4, and god damn it, we didn't even come close. But honestly, the basketball team was also a whole lot of fun to be on. Even though I didn't mean to make it, I wasn't supposed to make it, still one of the most fun things I did in 6th grade. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Man, I know I've been on a bit of a long hiatus, but you know what? I'm filming a second video right after this, so stay tuned for that. For my shoutouts goes to my buddy SledBoss Productions once again for hooking me up with this mic. I can't thank you enough for it. Link to his channel will be in the description below, and also the video where he reviewed this microphone. Link to that will also be in the description below. If you want to see my Bill's Mafia fail, link to that will be in the description below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what else you think about my new microphone. Do you like it? Do you not? Do I need to make some adjustments? All that. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Souter the Savage. Thank you all for watching. Peace out in my general winter wear, which is basically, my casual winter wear is just a sweater and a toque. And that's why I'm not wearing the hat. But anyways, thank you all. Peace out.